All right. All right, guys. Okay. Before you guys say anything about like why this took so long, I am so sorry. Um I had this done 2 weeks back. So that was like the middle of February that I had it done. Like I don't know why it took me forever, but I was looking for art. That was the last thing I needed. And so it's just pretty much like a segue into thanking someone. But I really suck at saying thank you. So if you know if it wasn't a good enough like thank you to the person I'm talking about, then I'm really sorry. I suck at saying thank you. I'm not really good at complimenting and thanking someone so much. But yeah. Anyways, I came into contact with a certain artist on Tumblr, and it probably took me like I don't know, maybe like 3 days for him to respond. And I was getting really scared. And like second day, I'm like, oh shit, what if they don't respond? What if they're too busy? What if they didn't see the message I sent to him? And I sent him by fan mail because that's the only other way. If I don't want to just show just put it publicly in an ask like, oh, can you do this for me? But can you let me do this? Not can you do this for me? That's I'm not letting anyone do anything for me, but yeah. So that artist I'm talking about is Milk Puppy, and that's the art that you're seeing right now on the screen. That's Milk Puppy's art, and is it beautiful in my opinion. I mean, it's lovely. You gotta say that it's very very lovely. Unless you have like a totally different art style that you love, and it's your opinion, not mine. But yeah, I'm gonna post a link to Milk Puppy's Tumblr in the description. But I want to thank you so much, Milk Puppy, because I mean, I was flipping my shit for the last 2 weeks on trying to find someone, and topping that with school and everything, that made things worse. And I at least got like 1 p.m. before doing this, saying like, hey, you're taking a bit too long on this. Are you gonna even keep going? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep going. It's just that I need to find art. But yeah, enough of me worrying. The issue is solved, and I want to thank you so much, Milk Puppy, for getting me out of this jam. If you said no for permission, I would have been so scared. I wouldn't even know what to do, because I said I'm gonna put fan art in for like every video that I put on. If I didn't do that, I feel like I'd be lying to you guys, and it makes me feel like a huge asshole for doing such a thing. So yeah. Oh man, that's pretty much like my worrying thank you like Milk Puppy, you're my savior. I love your White Rose art. Thank you. I know I suck at saying thank you, but Jesus, you're my savior. I mean, like, people would say like, just upload it without art. I'm like, I said to them, hell no, I can't do that. Anyways, back onto the topic of the story after saying my many thanks to Milk Puppy. Link will be in the description below to their Tumblr. If you haven't read the first 3 chapters of this story that I'm reading, which is A Beacon of Hope in a Castle of Ice, what are you doing here? Do not read along with this narration if you haven't read the first 3 chapters, because I mean, I'm gonna ask you, why would you do such a thing? Because I don't think you would do that unless like the author the author tells you like, oh, this is just some like boring backstory. You could just like skip a few chapters. No, this story does not say anything about that. So go back to the first video that I posted, which will be the first on the first 3 chapters, like I said, and just start from there. I know it's gonna probably take you like almost 2 hours just to get to where this is, but it's gonna actually take 2 hours. Sorry. But just read from where I started, which is the very beginning of the story, because I don't start late in the story. You don't do that with a story. It's really stupid to do that. So yeah. Anyways, for those that have read the first 3 chapters, I feel like even though it's not that many viewers, it's still a success to me, because I mean there's people that actually want to hear the narrations of the story. So yeah, thank you for those, like especially to those that subscribe to me. even though there's only like even though it was like 7 people only. Like, thank you so much for doing that. It knows that I can do this. Like, that it's actually worth doing, even though like this was just a gift to my readers. I don't know if I'm gonna ask you guys, like, where did you guys come from? Did you guys like find it off like my Tumblr account, my fanfiction account, any other place that you might have seen it? Because I mean, like, I think someone spread the word someone spread the word about my channel, and it's really crazy for me to just hear such a thing. So yeah. Anyways, I'm done with this like post like narration thing. I'm just gonna call it that because this is actually 2 weeks after I finished making the narration. So I'm done with this. I'm gonna get to the actual video. Sorry for taking so long, guys. Like, it's important for you guys to hear that. Like, my many thanks to you and to Milk Puppy. So yeah, let's let's actually get to the video. Hey guys, how's it going? Oh shit, I messed up. I couldn't stop myself from I was grinning so badly and I was fixing to laugh. So yeah, okay. Anyways, hey guys, how's it going? This is the Dark and Rose again. And I'm not gonna say hopefully. Welcome back to another episode of RWBY Fanfiction Reading with Rose. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call my series. If someone gives me a better suggestion, I'll switch to that. But yeah. Anyways, the last episode we left off, we just finished chapters 1 to 3 of A Beacon of Hope in a Castle of Ice. And what happened at the end of chapter 3, because that's where we ended off at, Yang punched the shit out of RWBY and literally knocked her out. I don't know, maybe she killed her? No, she didn't kill her. She was breathing. But yeah. Anyways, here we are with chapter 4. And, well, I hope that the first episode went successful, because actually this is actually recorded an hour after I made that, because I was editing it and everything like that. I put music and everything, and I'm actually waiting for permission from an artist to let me use one of their fan art for RWBY on it. So yeah. Anyways, the only thing I had for the break was, well, I actually have a bottle of water right now. Okay, first time ever drinking water in a long time. It feels good. But yeah. Alright, back to the story where we left off. Chapter 4, from boiling point to absolute zero. This is in RWBY's POV. RWBY, listen to me. I am not mad. I am as calm as can be. And just want you to explain what happened earlier. It was weird, but I am sure you have a completely rational explanation. I know it can be hard to deal with at times, but with little breathing space, I am back to maintaining my calm demeanor. So if you could listen to me for just a moment, I would like to. Weiss is being extremely polite for some reason. It's scary and awkward. She's talking right now, but my mind is so scattered, I can't pay attention. Yang left the room not even a half a minute ago, and here I am with Weiss trying to find out about the situation from nearly an hour ago. I figured if Yang saw me rushing to follow her, then she'd decide to wait, but she's so stupid at times. Weiss is such a sneaky opportunist. I've told Yang this before. She promised she would have had my back for another week, but yet again my sister decides to screw with my hopes. And with that said, I apologize for my spontaneous rage along with the several insults I directed to your barbaric brawler of a sister. Wow, Weiss has been talking this entire time? She must really feel bad for earlier, but she shouldn't. If that alarm clock didn't go off, who knows what would have happened. Well, I know who wouldn't have known. It's fine, Weiss. You don't need to apologize. I was in the wrong. I looked down, letting out a loud sigh, mumbling the last 2 words under my breath as usual. I walked into the bathroom, fixing the collar of my shirt, making sure my cape was clipped to my uniform properly. Everything looks A-okay. Now all I need to do is get out the door. I look up from the reflection of my collar to my silver eyes. Looking closely, I see a glisten trailing from the outer corner of each eye and down my cheek. Somewhere along the way, the glisten changing to a chalky white and staining my cheek. When was I crying? Is that why Weiss is being a little so careful with her words? Ruby. I jump. Looking over mirror Ruby's shoulder and staring into the crystal blue eyes of Mirror Weiss. It takes two to converse, Ruby Rose. I am trying to apologize, explain my standpoint on the situation, and reach a peaceful resolve before your sister eviscerates me, and my partner remains upset at me for a faulty miscommunication between the two of us. Why does Weiss need to use such fancy words? I think to myself. I hate it when she talks with such complexity. But it's gotten to the point that I understand her without a problem, despite not knowing half of the words she uses. Okay, Weiss. Look, you don't need to apologize. We already covered that. We already reached a peaceful resolve. Yang isn't going to evaporate you, or wherever it is that word you said it was, and I'm not upset at you. I'm just upset. I look at the reflection, seeing more tears swell up in my eyes, and Weiss approaching me from behind. Stay back, Weiss, please. You just don't understand. I'm not upset because I hate you. I'm upset because I love you. You feel Weiss's arms slide around my hips and rest on my torso. She pulls me against her, resting her chin on top of my head. She was in her high heels and I was barefoot, making our slight size difference a bit larger than it already was. She slides a hand into one of my pockets, pulling out a small pack of tissues. How does she know that was in there? It would be just like you to not touch the pack of tissues I gave you to clean your hands of chocolate since you eat cookies all day long. Well, that explains how she knew. I see her pale digits reach up with folded pieces of paper from the mirror's reflection and proceeds to wipe away my 2 streaks of tears, leaving just the white trails of salt on my cheeks. You need to pick yourself up, Ruby Rose. You're clumsy, careless, childish, rambunctious, and as obnoxious as your sister, your sugar diet is unbearable. You refuse to see the death threat your bed imposes on me. Your table manners are the equivalent of the sun's, and you are without a doubt the world's largest dolt. And listen to the barrage of insults, laying out a sigh as Weiss yet again rubs it in that I am a failure as a huntress and as a person. What gets me is, why is she being so soft with her words when what she is doing is throwing insult after insult my way? But if I could pull one positive thing out of all that, Weiss begins, and look into the mirror, looking at those crystal blue eyes. The eyes are normally filled with a stern expression or unmoved by emotion. The eyes that remain firm like the shade of blue they are named after. For once I could see Weiss on the verge of tears. Not anything like how she was during our game in the library yesterday after the food fight. She was crying then from Yang toying with her and giving her a false sense of confidence, as Yang usually does. Though those tears were of frustration, these tears were not. They appeared much more sincere than that. Enough to make me attempt to speak and fumble over my words as I've been managing to do all morning. The one positive thing is the fact that you're my dolt. Weiss gives me a soft smile in the mirror and then drags her fingers from my torso to my hips and pulls her hands free from my body, leaving me in shock as I digest those words. She must mean that in a friendly way. We're partners. That doesn't explain her tears. Wait, why did she leave? Weiss, where are you going? It takes me a moment to realize I am screaming to her, but only in my mind. I shake my head quickly and peek out the bathroom door to see Weiss with her bag in hand proceeding to the door to leave. I reach my hand out, trying to call out to her, but mine is too fogged to form words. My extended arm is also shaking. The doorknob is turned. I can hear the door click as the dead latch is released from the hole in the frame that keeps the door locked and secured. No, Weiss. Now you have questions to answer. With those words in mind, I do what I do best. I dash. My eyes remain focused on the hand pulling the door open, and within a fraction of a second I am next to Weiss, holding that hand with the door barely cracked open. I close my eyes and let out a long sigh. My body is listening to me again, finally. I can feel a flex in Weiss's wrist, and at first I think I am hurting her, but when I open my eyes I can see her soft, delicate fingers releasing the doorknob before retreating into a lightly clenched fist. Weiss, I whispered to her, placing my other hand on her shoulder to push her behind the doorway and an extra few feet away. What do you mean by your dolt? My gaze stays on her hand, waiting and pleading for an answer. All I can do is stand there, staring at Weiss's soft, slender fingers. The same fingers that grip her multi-action dust rapier. The same rapier that saved me a semester ago before we were even formally announced as teammates. I mean, you're a klutz. You're rambunctious, you... What do you really mean, Weiss? I shift my eyes to hers, wanting nothing more than to hear her say she has feelings for me. Even if they are still in question, if I can have the absolute least out of this, let it be that Weiss is either not homophobic or that she's bi-curious. Ruby, I am unsure of what I was trying to say to myself. Ruby. Okay, I did not see that last part. I was scrolling down. A lot has transpired between us this first semester, and I do not know if my feelings for you are what you think them to be. I get the feeling that was a half-truth, but there is not much I can do about it. I feel a jittery inside at the thought that Weiss has feelings for me. My grip on her wrist loosens, and my silence probably is not assisting the situation. I enter a mirror daydream, thinking of things to say and romantic responses she can give me in return, but when I snap back into reality and look straight ahead of me, she is not there. Quickly, I turn my head and see her walking past me for the door. I reach behind me and grab her wrist. I don't want her to go yet. I haven't said my side. Maybe if she hears how I feel, she will be totally honest with me. Ruby, that's enough. I said what I felt I needed to. Her voice is back to being stern and commanding. This is the Weiss I fell in love with, but now I feel as though I fell in love with a shell. The true Weissney making an appearance for but a few seconds. I met Weissney, the teenage girl attending Beacon Academy, not Weissney, heiress to the Schneedust Company. Oh damn it! I'm sorry. I think my Ruby slap bands are like picking up on the audio, so I'm sorry about that. I can't let up. Not now, not yet. She confessed to you, Ruby, or at least that's the closest you're getting to a confession. You need to tell her your feelings now. My inner voice scolds me for the first time in a while. I part my lips to speak, but Weiss tries to tug her wrist free from me once again. I stand my ground, holding firmly until her movements become more frantic, forcing me to pull towards me, although a bit too hard. The result is Weiss collapsing to the floor and landing me on top of her. I take the chance to quickly posture myself. I crawl over Weiss, placing myself in a kneeling position with my rear planted on her tummy to hold her down. I need to get this off my chest. Listen to me for just 1 second! I practically scream at her. My tone makes her pause, and Eris looks up at me in utter disbelief. I let out a loud sigh, slouching forward now that the struggling is over. Weiss, the feelings are mutual. Really, Ruby? Mutual? That's almost as bad as this saying ditto. The stern look of the heiress is gone, replaced by the sweet, bashful Weiss I was introduced to earlier. I feel this next part is needed, to prove that I truly share her feelings. I don't want to hide behind Yang anymore. I want to take my own steps from now on. I begin to lean down, prepared to have my first kiss. I hope Weiss takes the lead. She is staring at me with those soft eyes that close further the closer I lean. My mind begins to go blank as my lips near Weiss's, but before they can connect, she gently pushes me upwards and looks away from me. I can feel myself begin to tear up, and before I can ask why, I feel Weiss roll over and pin me to the floor. Her hand on my breast, which I am certain is accidental, but what was hurting me was her sharp elbow digging into my stomach. Get off me, Weiss! You're hurting me! I cry out. She looks down at me and simply smiles before her face goes back to that cold, emotionless heiress I know. It all becomes clear within the next instant as Yang shoves the door open with an echoing thud and sees Weiss on top of me. Weiss, why would you? What the hell is going on here? Yang screams at the top of her lungs and begins walking towards us. With no sense of urgency, I feel Weiss lean down and cradle me for a brief moment, then whisper into my ear, "Let's keep this between us for now." What the fuck? I look up at Weiss in shock. Her next words being screams and pleas for Yang to be rational. I scream for Yang to stop, watching the truly barbaric side of my sister on display. I scream to Yang that Weiss likes me, but Weiss counters my voice with another plea for Yang to stop. I begin to shake, seeing Weiss get pinned up to the wall. My sister's flaming aura bringing a warmth to me that I've known too well. Yang cared about me, but she was not thinking rationally. I need to stop her before she hurts, no, destroys the love of my life. I see Yang lift her right hand, my eyes going wide as I recall what happened 2.5 years ago at Signal. The amount of training Yang has gone through since then has been immense. A punch like that where the aura burning will put Weiss in a coma. Then it occurs to me. Her right cross is lethal, but not her left hook. My body moves on its own, my semblance bringing me right next to Yang. My right arm hooks around her bicep, holding that punch back before it gets delivered. My left hand goes into her hair. I know she didn't comb her hair today. She most likely planned on doing so after breakfast. With that in mind, I rake my fingers through her beautiful golden mane. Oh man, she's asking for a death wish, man. I close my eyes and focus my aura to protect myself. Also thinking back to my sister's first time accidentally punching me. Nobody touches my hair, Ruby. Especially when I'm mad, I'll knock anyone since I'm not thinking straight. So for your own good, never do that again. Alright, little sis? Her voice was so sweet when she told me that. The punch from that time was nowhere near the level of power she is at now. But I can take it. I need to take it. I won't let Weiss get hurt. She saved me from a monster in the Emerald Forest. It's about time I save her from one. I hate to admit it, but Yang truly is a monster at times. Yang! Yang! That's Ruby! Don't! I hear Weiss screaming. She doesn't know what Yang like I do. Nobody does. You don't stop her anger. You can only redirect it. I can feel Yang shift in gravity from the slight movement in her bicep and her hair. I decided it may be best to pull my hands back to guard now that I knew her attention was on me. But for the first time, I am not fast enough. As the hit connects to my right cheek, I open my left eye to give Weiss one more stare. Those beautiful eyes being filled with tears. Why must you cry now, Weiss? I'll sleep with that being the most recent image of you. Smile for me, please. I close my eyes. I close my eye and feel my feet take off from the ground. I know Yang's power, but not once am I scared of what will happen. Weiss is safe, and that's all that matters. I smile to myself as I began flying across the room. My body is numb, but I feel as though someone caught me. Could it be Blake? Before I drift into unconsciousness, I open my eyes to see Yang staring in shock and Weiss right behind her. My body becomes light. My head droops forward and I begin falling to the floor. I guess it wasn't Blake that got me. I hit a wall. Oh man, that was nice. And I did not expect to sound so like melancholic out of all of this. I was thinking I was gonna sound more excited, but when I realized when I was reading this, I thought I shouldn't be in this way. I shouldn't be like that. So yeah. That was only 15 minutes in, so no, 16 minutes now. So yeah, let's go for another chapter. I think it might be like 3 chapters every video, but I don't know. I fucking love this story, man. Why haven't I heard about it or anything like that? All right. In chapter 5, recovery, a red rose, and a relationship. The POV is Weiss-Schnee. I should just say it like that all the time now. Let me take a look at some things. I look down at Ruby, holding that pretty little head on my lap. Even with scorch marks on her face, she is still the most beautiful girl I've ever known. I hope you're satisfied, I screamed, looking to my left at the blonde barbarian. Go get help, now, I command. Watching a shaking woman leave the room, I look back down at Ruby to see she is bleeding from her nose. I quickly reach the nearby drawer and pull out my favorite white bolero. I press it to my crimson warrior's nose, telling myself that she will pull through no problem. I gaze about the room, hoping to find something to help prop her up with until the proper medical staff arrives. I feel my hand getting soaked and quickly look down to see the blood already soaking through my bolero. That's a lot. How could she bleed that much? I scream in my mind, quickly switching to another part of the bolero, noticing the same red liquid trickling out the corner of her lips. My body starts shaking. I have no clue what to do. I have never been in this situation, but I'm not going to lose her. Not now, not ever. I'll be by her side until the very end. Weiss, I hear my name slip from the bloody lips of my team leader. Don't talk, I quickly tell her. Bring my lips down onto her forehead. She nods her head, but then wipes her nose and mouth with her fingers, coating them in a deep crimson that rivals even her hood. I see her hand extend out to her side, but I am too busy whispering and reassuring her to care what she is trying to grab for. My tears roll down my cheeks, landing on the soft features of her swelled, burned, and bloody cheek. Only when she speaks again do I wipe away my tears and give her my complete attention. Read. Read? What? Ruby, don't talk nonsense. I look down at the weak silver eyes that are staring over to my white dresser. I turn my head and go wide-eyed upon seeing Ruby's blood coating it, and then realizing she has been writing using her crimson essence. I lean over slightly to read the atrocious handwriting, although at a time like this, I doubt anybody could write properly. Weiss, I read the first word in my head, carefully adapting to the oddly shaped lettering before reading the rest of the sentence out loud. Love me, even in death. Oh man, fuck. I feel it churning within my stomach. I want to throw up. I want to scream. I want to shred Yang's yellow lock straight from her skull and let her realize what it is like to lose something that you hold more precious to you than anything. You're not dying, Ruby, I whisper in an attempt to reassure myself more than I am trying to reassure her. I let out a nervous giggle and looked back down to my savior. I should have been the one like this right now. Why does she need to interfere to get herself into this situation? Why is she being so still? Why do I feel as if the carpet is drenched in water? My eyes darted to Ruby's face once more, seeing those beautiful silver eyes closed, the small, petite lips coated with red, but no bubbling or motion from her whatsoever. You're going to be fine, Rippy. I just know it. I don't even believe myself at this point. I looked down the carpet to see the black texture getting a red complexion as it spread out rather far. No, Ruby! You dolts! Wake up! Don't you dare leave me here! I began screaming at the lifeless form. I lifted her head off my lap, seeing blood dripping from the back of her head. Was this from when she hit the wall? I pull her up to me, holding her in my arms, begging her to return to me. Weiss! I can hear her faint's voice scream. There's nothing that can help me at this point. I'm not letting go. I never will from now on. Weiss! The same voice calls out again, this time much louder than before. I close my eyes, hoping it will go away. My thoughts fading to the blackness of my heart, where every memory resides, except for the warming thoughts of my own Ruby Rose. Weiss, get up! You're dreaming! Get up! I jump from my dream with a startle, bouncing into the backrest of a rather uncomfortable chair. My senses are awake, but I can hear the beeping of a medical device, and the room I am in appears to be a hospital room. Why am I here? I look down, spotting a large bed that I am sitting next to. I turn my head to the left to look at whose it belongs to. Nice to see you awake, sleepyhead. I follow the voice, lifting my gaze upwards from where I am currently looking to see I am eye level with a perfectly healthy Ruby Rose. I reach up to wipe away some oncoming tears, but instead I feel a dampness on my cheeks. I must have been crying this entire time. I observe her bandaged face. The heavy bandage is covering up her entire right cheek and right eye, but even in this situation I am amazed at how calm and carefree she is. It's been 2 days since the event in our team's dorm room. Yang came back with 2 medical personnel from the school's clinic, and they quickly carried Ruby off with both of us in follow. She only had a swelled cheek, a fractured nose, and thankfully only first-degree burns. If she was not such a talent with her combat and orange skills, I doubt she would be awake right now. So what did I miss? She asked with her cheery attitude, using her blanket to brush the tears from my cheeks. I can't even talk cheerfully now because of this. Alright. 2 days of classes. Me telling your sister off with extremely colorful vocabulary, Blake's increase in lack of sleep, Ying and I being assigned to work on the dance this Sunday, and me worrying sick about you. I quickly wrapped my arms around Ruby's neck and pulled a crimsonness for a tight hug. At the same time, I pressed the buzzer near the edge of her bed to signal her doctor to make their way over here. Regardless of how much I want to talk and grill her, health comes first. We both remained silent, the 16-year-old brushing her cheek to mine and letting out content sighs that I released as well, happy to know that she will be okay. I can hear the door, which makes Ruby jump up and pull away from me. I forgot to tell her something else that happened while she was recovering, but I'm sure it will come up soon enough. As the female doctor approaches, I sit myself up in the chair, correcting my posture and brushing down my school uniform. I finished grim studies and rushed over to the clinic, as I've been doing for the past couple of days, wanting nothing more than to be the first person Ruby wakes up and sees. Miss Rose, it is good to see you awake. I must say, for being one of Miss Xiaolong's right cross victims, you're awake far ahead of schedule, the female doctor said, trying to lighten the mood of the room, although with Ruby presented it. It was not hard for that to be achieved. Well, it was actually a left hook. I don't think I'd be talking right now if it were a right cross. Ruby smiles back instantly. I am amazed at how perky she is when her sister nearly killed her 2 days ago. But then again, this is the same girl that has gone through several sparring matches with Yang, although that punch was far from being near sparring level. You're telling me. I still have a Mr. Winchester in intensive care from yesterday's sparring session with Miss Xiaolong. Ruby was fortunate to have a doctor that was just as cheery and talkative as she was. I stand up, leaving the room since I already knew I would be asked so Dr. Summers could do her job and examine Ruby's injuries. As I enter the hallway, I quickly take out my scroll and open up my messaging tab. I had both Yang and Blake as the recipients and proceed to type. Me. Ruby is awake. Get here now. Blake. On my way. Barbaric Brute. KKOMW. Asterisk. Okay. Allow an audible sigh and put my scroll away into the inner pocket of my vest. Yang arrived within 2 minutes of my message, breathing heavily and sweating profusely. Wherever she has been, she made a swift exit to come and see her sister. Yang and I have had a very long exchange after we made sure Ruby was taken care of. I refuse to forgive her for hitting your sister. And she shows no signs of forgiving herself either. I mean, I was fixing the yawn right there. Actually, I'm going to take another swig of water. You know, I don't want to start sounding really bad. I spent hours trying to explain what transpired that resulted in her coming in and spawning Ruby and I in that ridiculously lewd position, but Yang's closed-minded attitude made me forfeit my attempts and self for telling her that Ruby will explain exactly what happened. Among other things, I had a surplus of time to speak to Yang without having Ruby to sit next to or spar with, and I've developed an understanding with Yang, moving her from an acquaintance to a friend. Why are you out here? Something wrong? Is Rubes okay? Yang is too hyper right now. It is her fault that Ruby is like this, but Ruby has been stable this entire time without any problems. I quickly lift my hand up over the mouth of the busty blonde, leaving my palm over her lips a moment for her to get my gesture, and then lower my hand back to my hip. She's fine. Her bandages are being removed and all the other formalities are being checked out. Ruby was acting as if nothing happened. She's fine, I answer. Then hear the door open to the door to the room open. A surprised Dr. Summers stands there, looking at Yang with a raise of her eyebrow. Miss Ni, is this? Yes, this is the infamous Yang Xiaolong, I answer, already knowing what the question will be. Otherwise known as Ruby's older sister. I can see the look of shock on the doctor's face. Not too many people knew that Yang and Ruby were related, and I'm sure that people will never expect it, since Ruby has become one of the people with the long list of hospital admittance from Yang. Well, that's crazy. In her defense, this was not done purposely. Otherwise, Ruby would not be awake right now. That punch was meant for me, and it was certainly going to be for her right claw. Going to be her right cross. I gently shimmy past Dr. Summers, who appears reluctant to let Yang in. Yang has never been within 50 yards of the clinic, so none of the employees knew who this crazy sadistic fire looks like. Yang! I hear Ruby shout when her sister steps into the room. Seeing the bandages off her face brings a bright smile to my face. There are no marks of any kind aside from the small amounts of peeling skin that could be taken care of with a quick shower. Man, I never had peeling skin on my face. The happy greeting Ruby gave to Yang is enough to put Dr. Summers at ease and leave the three of us for now. Yang steps past me and kneels down at Ruby's side rather than use the chair I was sitting in. That is, not even 3 feet away. Rubes, I'm very sorry about what happened. I saw Weiss on top of you, I heard you scream for her to get off, and with those two things in mind, I snapped. Do you think Yang was capable of apologizing to people? No, shit, I said it wrong. To think Yang was capable of apologizing to people. Although I guess I won't give points since it is her sister she's apologizing to. Not much of a step in the right direction just yet. Yang, it's fine. I pulled your hair on purpose so you wouldn't hit Weiss. I know what your right cross can do, but you have terrible form when you throw a hook, so I figured I could deal with it. Wait, I have bad form on my left hook? I began to snicker. Of all the things that can be taken from what Ruby just said, of course, Yang could focus on the fact that her fighting form isn't needed work. You don't step in when you throw it, so you're just striking with your upper arm instead of putting your entire body into it. Really? You're helping me tomorrow in sparring practice then? Of course, Yang would forget one of the things we discussed, and as usual, I now need to step in and remind her of one of our agreements. Ruby won't be sparring with you for a week. We discussed this. I refuse to let you two go at it since we do not know if Ruby is fully recovered, and you two don't know how to tone it down when you're facing each other. Yang's... My brother walked in, so I grew nervous, because I thought he was going to say shut up and it would pick up on the mic or something. Yang's mighty groan of defeat and Ruby's pouting reminds me just how much those two can be alike. As for you, I look towards Ruby, who immediately snaps her head in my direction. You have 3 lessons to copy from my notebooks. A report on the migration habits of Nevermores and Team Juniper will surely be out of the room to see that you are well. Wait, Dr. Summers said I should stay another night. Ruby's comment earns a smirk from Yang, who reassures her sister of an early leave. They will be more than happy to let you out with Yang escorting you. Just to mention her name will stop nearly every person within this establishment. Yup, nobody messes with Beacon's blonde beauty. Yang nodded triumph, earning a giggle snort from Ruby and a much needed reality check from me. Yang, everyone here knows you as Beacon's barbaric blonde. Now, I left Ruby standard attire, her comet skirt, boots, leggings, blouse, and cape underneath the bed, nice and folded in a bag. Help her get dressed so we can get out of here already. I go over to grab my bag from next to the chair and leave the room, wondering where Blake is at this time. After Ruby comes out of the room with Yang leading the way, we all proceed to leave. Our only opposition coming at the entrance when the desk clerk recognizes Ruby, the recent Yang Xiaolong victim, attempts to get her to wait for Dr. Summers. As I predicted earlier when Yang mentioned who she was, the desk clerk was more than happy to let the three of us go without needing to sign any sort of paperwork. I'm happy to see Ruby... I almost said Yang. I'm happy to see Ruby moving about with ease. She's still as hyper as ever, and Yang is in a much more relaxed state now that her sister is out of there. The walk back to our dorm room is quick and quiet. I see Yang take out her scroll to send a text message while I take out mine to open the door. Upon entering, we see an unconscious Blake sleeping in bed. It's about time she got some sleep. At least her absence was for a good cause. Okay, I think we should go across the hall to Teen Juniper's room and let Blakey enjoy a cat nap, Yang suggests, to which both Ruby and I agree. The two of them walk out of the room, but I loiter for a moment to find Ruby's scroll tucked away and charging on her bed just like I left it. I unplug it, seeing that the battery is full, and I hand it to Ruby after I exit the room and carefully shut the door behind me. Hello, John, Nora, Pira, Ren. Where are you? Oh, damn it! I said it wrong! Oh man, fuck up with the century number 2. I'm not gonna repeat it because that was already too far in. It was supposed to be hello, not hello. Oh my, no, the way I said it earlier. Alright, Yang sings out while fist pounding the door. Maybe they're out? I suggest being the one with the most common sense, it seems. Yeah, Yang. Maybe you should have called them first, Ruby states, giving me a smile and a little wink out the corner of her eye while Yang is still distracted with banging on the door. Ruby's wink makes me blush and gaze away. Such a trivial and basic flirting attempt, and I am already flustered. Ruby Rose, if you knew the things I want to do to you, you would be far more hesitant to wink at me. I sigh, letting my internal comment go unvocalized. Surprisingly, I hear a door open and look back at Yang to see a second set of blonde hair responding at the door. Sorry guys, Ren and I were stuck in the bathroom since Piran had to get dressed, and I was in the shower at the time. Come in. John quickly steps aside, allowing Yang, Ruby, and I to enter the room. Yang, Ruby, Weiss. It's great to see the three of you. I'm glad to see you already out and about, Ruby. I hope you'll be back at 100% soon. I'm sure Weiss will be more than willing to assist you the entire way. Piran is always very well spoken and mannered, but did she need to mention me in that last part? She just opened the gates. Huh? Ruby grunts out in confusion. Pira added some emphasis on that last sentence, and I can only imagine how long this will go on before she questions Yang or I on the inside joke. Yup. Weiss will give you plenty of R&R. I hear a loud bang and creak with each pause in Nora's sentence. After shimmying out from behind the two sisters, I see she is jumping her bed with Ren sitting at the edge, being sent inches in the air with each of Nora's hard landings. I need to commend him on his amazing patience and tolerance for Nora. If it were me in this situation, I would have no problem kicking her out the room for the night. Ruby's confusion only continues, eventually making her turn around and face me. I knew this would happen. Yang said it would be easier this way, and I guess with the rest of my friends inching towards the matter, it does make it easier for me to respond to Ruby's upcoming question. What's this? Shit. Weiss, what are they talking about? I just got a text message. Hold on, guys. I got a text message. I'll be back reading in a bit. If my phone can even. Text me later. I'm recording something. Text me in a couple of hours. Shit. Damn it, I'm so sorry, guys. Fuck up with the century number 3. Oh man. Man, dude, I'm gonna have a really good like montage for all this for my fucking up in like a week. Who knows what's gonna happen? Alright. Those silver eyes looking right through my body, hungering for an answer as to what is going on. Yeah, Weiss, do tell. I growl and look over at Yang, who appears to be too amused at the situation. This is in no way easy for me, and a little more support from a teammate's sister would be nice to rely on at some point. You have an Astro Ice? I was under the impression that was already a done deal. Damn it, John, you're not helping either. I want to leave the room now. This is far too embarrassing to deal with, but I told myself I wouldn't run. I'll hold my ground, just like Ruby did for me when it came to her sister. Weiss, what haven't you asked me? Why does everyone else know but not me? What's going on? Ruby's tone is a bit more frantic and she is quicker with her words. She gets anxious so easily and I find it so adorable. It's one of the main things I like about her. Well, while you were hospitalized, I will not go into detail on that. I flash a look over to Yang. She won't be forgetting what she did to Ruby anytime soon. I'll be making sure of that. I came up with a small resolve and shared with Blake my intentions, who then shared with Yang, who then went a step further and said what I intended to was already done, thus leading to Team Juniper's assumptions. Wait, I didn't say what they were under the assumption of, did I? Damn it, Weiss! And what would that be? Ruby asked with growing interest. I let out a soft sigh and hang my head in defeat. I can feel my cheeks burning red, and when I raise my head, it is clear. My blush is visible based on the looks of shock in everyone, except for Ruby, whose eyes widen in realization. Ruby Rose, I want you to be my girlfriend. And I back away from my chair, and I just stand up, and I just go, yeah! Woo! Oh man, holy shit, that's a record. I never seen it come by so quickly. Ooh, actually, no, never mind. If I were referencing myself right now, I've broken that record in like 2 chapters. I needed that water. Oh, that was loud. Sorry, guys. Anyway, oh, that was a chapter. That was a chapter. Okay, that took way longer than I thought. Oh, happy birthday. That's what it was going on in Skype? Alright. Alright. What was I doing again? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. I might go longer than an hour for this episode. So, yeah. Let's do this. Chapter 6. A well-deserved catnap. I think I sounded too quiet that I don't think my mic picked it up well. The POV is for on Blake Belladonna. And apparently there is no spacing in between both names, so that's... I'm not gonna... Nah, it doesn't matter. It kinda does to some people. I'm not OCE though, so yeah. Okay, I think we should go across the hall to Team Juniper's dorm and let Blakey enjoy her catnap. Damn Yanger reception with puns referring to my fondest nature. I have told her many times that I do not like her childish and otherwise distasteful use of wordplay, especially when she is referring to my cat ears. I keep myself still, feeling the presence of someone still in the room. After a second or two, I hear footsteps going towards Ruby's bed. I take the opportunity to open an eye and see the long, white French braid of the resident heiress. She's getting Ruby's scroll and is now at the door. About time. I'll quickly sit up in bed and pull out Yang's scroll, messaging John to let the trio in. Within seconds, Yang's impatient banging stops, and I can hear the faint voice of John as he welcomes 75% of Team RWBY into his team's dorm room. These past 2 days have been nerve-wracking to say the least, with Weiss's resolve to prove her love to Little Red by requesting an official declaration between the two of them. Yang's mental lapse has not helped much either, but she gave me some advice that I have been taking. She could be just as caring as Little Red, a nickname for Ruby, except she is selective as to who she will be caring for. I'm surprised that things are turning out like they are, and hopefully my plan for Weiss and Ruby does not backfire. After all, Yang needed to do is play dumb and lead them into my little mousetrap. Yes, I am capable of making puns too. Mine are far superior to Yang's, however. It all started after I got news from Yang of what happened with Ruby. Oh my god, it sounds like I'm making it sound like it's a mystery kind of novel instead of like a love story or something like that. Okay, yeah, it's a romance. I was thinking like, shit, I don't know it. But okay, yeah, it's a romance. I realized, yeah, it's a romance novel. Damn. All right. Who's spamming my scroll? Whoever it is better have a good reason. I was just getting to the good part. I dropped my bookmark between the pages of one of my favorite romance novels, Ninjas of Love. Shit! I knew he would do that! I knew the author would put up Ninjas of Love. My scroll went off early, but I figured once I ignore it, whoever it was that messaged me would get the idea that I am not to be bothered and lead me to my book. Unfortunately, that is not the case. My scroll vibrates along my hip over and over again, sometimes vibrating for a constant 5 seconds as a massive horde of messages clear to get it within Beacon's server before being dropped off in my scroll all at once. I close my book with a loud clap and place it within my bag. I am currently on the roof, the same area that Pierre and John sneak off to at night to train, although I am seen comfortably over the doorway leaning back against the tiles of the slanted wall. I enjoy it up here. It's peaceful during the day, and nobody comes up here during these hours to disturb me, aside from whoever it is still sending me messages on my scroll. I suppose I should answer it. Yeah, you're impatient, I get it. This better be good. I speak to myself while opening my scroll to see an outstanding 23 unread messages from Yang. Of course it would be you that message me. I told you already, I do not want to go on a date with you. You switch relationships by the week, and I am no statistic. I sigh and decide to read her messages for once, rather than turn off my scroll when she is in one of her assessment moves. Alright, these are Yang's messages. Punched rubes and clink. I'm breaking down. I hate my life. Please, kitty cat. Blake, answer me! As I read through all the messages, I gather that Yang possibly hit Ruby with a right cross, which I hope is not the case. That woman knows how to destroy a person with her right. If Ruby's in a clink, then there's nothing I can do. Only thing left is to wait and let the staff do their job. If I recall, Ruby gets treated by Dr. Summers. I have had to take Ruby in there plenty of times with the always occurring tummy ache since Little Red has had such an obsession with sweets. How she does not gain a pound is beyond me, but I can worry about that later. Yeah, I do wonder too. I guess I'll call Yang. Worst case, I'll tell her to meet me in the dorm room. I go through the contacts on my scroll, going down to the last person in my current list of contacts, Xiao Long Yang. I hold the phone up a few inches to my ear, knowing once she picks up, I will be barraged with words. Oh my god, Blake, I hit Ruby. It wasn't a cross, so I'm happy. Well, I'm happy it wasn't a cross, but I hit my sister. I could have killed her. I don't know what to do. I can't think straight. You gotta help me, please. I'm losing my mind. Why, he's kicked me out of the hospital room. I have never heard her say so many curses at one time. I wish I could. Yang, you're talking too fast. Punch a tree and come to the room to talk. But I'm in the room. I came back after. Go outside, punch a tree, and meet me in the room. Before Yang can impose an argument, I hang up my scroll and turn it off to another back massage of messages from her. Wow. I tossed my scroll into my bag along with my book, placed my bag on, and began walking along the roof. Looking down from where I am, I can see a large grassy area with a firm oak tree hanging near the walls of the dormitory. As a matter of fact, it's the same oak tree that I look at from the room window. I use that to landmark where I am in comparison to the room, and continue walking until I roughly estimate that I am right above where my room is. I lean over to peek down the edge of the dormitory. Being 4 stories high does have its disadvantages, but thankfully, I just needed to drop down 1 story and into the open window. It is clear that it is either that or climb down a branch on the tree and hop in. Although if my timing is correct, then that tree won't be safe in the next few seconds. I turn around, placing my bag towards the edge of the building and make a harmless jump backwards. I grasp the ledge of the next few the open window. It is either that or... Oh, fuck! Damn it! Oh my god. I already lost count of my fuck-ups of the century, guys. Oh my god. If I were Twitch streaming this instead, you guys would have been on my ass for so long during the story, so yeah. I think the comments will be the same. Oh man. Okay. Make a harmless jump back. Oh shit. Okay, I turn around, place my back towards the edge of the building, and make a harmless jump backwards. I grasp the ledge in the next few seconds. Okay, I think I'm getting too tired for this shit, but I'll keep going. I cross the ledge of the roof as I fall, place my feet against the top of the frame to the room window, and happy to see the window itself is still open. I let go of the ledge, allowing myself to fall down the windowsill. Sneaky entryway to the room. Son had a habit of using that ledge to visit me unannounced. He needs to clean up his act before he even thinks I will show any interest in him. Although his abs do have a point, I could grate cheese on them. I purr, thinking of his toned torso, and almost lost my footing upon my landing to the windowsill. Quickly, I reach my hands inside the window, pull myself inside. Not a second later, I hear Yang's angry scream and look out the window to see the entire tree shake and several leaves dancing their way down to the grassy plains below. I know her too well, it seems. I smile, stepping over to my bed and placing my backpack underneath. I sit down near the edge, leaving plenty of room for Yang to faceplant herself and wait me to control the tempo of the conversation, since usually I need to in order to keep everything she says in an order I can understand. Oh man. Speaking of Yang, she should be here right about. I looked at right about now. I think the author forgot to put now, or I think that should be a cutoff. I looked to the door, seeing it burst open with a depressed brawler walking towards me. I pat the massive amount of room left on my bed, and as suspected, Ye dives in, burying her face into my pillow just like Little Red does every time she is depressed about something. Alright, Yang, from the top, what happened? You went back to make sure Ruby wouldn't get interrogated by Weiss. That was over 2 hours ago, and I honestly thought you were just cutting class again. I reached down and began rubbing Yang's back. Her golden juggle of hair is always so smooth and warm. I love her hair, but if I tell her that, she will make a point of using it as a form of leverage. I got back to the room. The door was open, but I didn't want to rush in and make it look obvious that I came to bail out Ruby. So I slowed down and decided to just peek in and make sure everything is going okay. I peek inside and hear Ruby telling Weiss to get off of her, and when I look around the door and see Weiss holding my sis down to the ground, I got in there, lost my cool, and threw Weiss against the wall. I was about to punch her, but then Ruby grabbed my arm and my hair, and once I'm out of it, I will swing at whoever touches my hair. I'm just in Yang mode. I nod, tapping Yang's shoulder to get the blonde brother to stop talking for a moment, while I gathered my thoughts. So you went under the assumption that Weiss was defiling your sister. Fuck, I yawned. I fucking yawned. I was never supposed to yawn. That Weiss was defiling your sister in search of answers, and once again, go in with your mindset of punch first, ask questions later. You're about to knock the daylights out of Weiss, and Ruby stops you the only way she knows how, and that results in you knocking her halfway back to signal. Did I get that right? I bring my arms in front of me to fold them, looking ahead of me at the two vacant beds while Yang sulks into my pillow more, letting me know that I was right on the money. Okay, so you knock out Ruby, bring her to the clinic, and Weiss wanted you as far away from Ruby as possible because of what you did, right? Another huff and loud groan again confirms that I am right. That she has second or third degree burns? First degree. She used her aura to block most of my punch. I raised an eyebrow, thinking about Yang's strength and the amount of time Ruby would need to charge enough aura to defend against Yang's strike. Were you flaming? Fully. What? Even for Ruby, who has very powerful aura, to escape a punch while you're in Yang mode means she had every intention of being punched and charged her aura even before you began throwing your punch. That means something happened between her and Weiss, since Ruby has never gotten involved in the quarrel between the two of you, even when you nearly killed Weiss that one time for cutting off a piece of your hair in sparring practice. I'm far too tired to think much further for now, but I think I am right on the dot with my assumptions. The only thing now is to question Weiss on her side of the story. It doesn't matter, Yang screams, though slightly muffled by my pillow. Oh man, I should have done that. It doesn't matter. Oh man. She realizes her flaw and raises her head up to be heard more clearly. I hit my sister and put her into medical care. I could have killed her. Yang was right. She could have killed Ruby, if Ruby wasn't ready for that punch. Man, I feel really bad for Ruby. She could have died. Yang, your sister is almost as reckless as you, but she is smart and a very quick thinker. Her taking that punch with aura ready is a perfect example of that. She took a chance by getting you to punch her, but she was prepared for that nonetheless. Your sister put herself in harm's way to save Weiss from what I assume was your right cross. Your sister is in love with Weiss. That much is obvious, but we don't know what happened in that room. I doubt Weiss was molesting Ruby. Weiss hasn't shown she likes Ruby. That was the world's biggest lie. I've caught Weiss looking at pictures of Ruby on her skull, not to mention that scent of hers from this morning. Wait, what? Scent hers from this morning? Was she at a wet tree? What is she masturbating to Ruby? What the fuck? Well, this story was rated M. There's gonna be some lemon later, I bet. If not, then okay. Look, all you need to do is let me talk to the two of you. When Weiss gets back, we will take care of that. For now, just take a nap and gather yourself. I reach underneath my bed to pull out my bag and get my book out. I climb up onto Yang's bed and sit with my back to the wall, giving me plenty of room to stretch out my legs and continue reading. At least until Yang climbed up and laid her head on my lap. Yang, I came up here to read. I looked down at her with an unamused glare. And I won't say a word, Blake. Please? She looks at me with those soft lilac eyes, bloodshot from a recent tear shedding. Just this once, I cave into her. I stopped her several times before, but I guess with these circumstances, I'll let her have one thing go her way today. I open my book up, remove the bookmark, or go back to reading. Yang is true to her word and keeps quiet while I read, eventually falling asleep on my lap while I enter the world of ninjas of love and await Weiss's return. Just that thing about like what Blake said about what Weiss does in pictures of Ruby on her skull. I mean, it's beautiful. I love that. It's beautiful. That shows her affection for her. I mean, hopefully she doesn't think of Ruby as a sexual object, though. Nah, of course not. She wouldn't think of her as that. There's a wetness between. Fuck! Oh man, just when I'm talking about that. There's a wetness between my thighs now as I recall having Yang resting against me while I read my favorite romance novel. I do have a thing for Yang, but as I said earlier, I will not become another person on the list of people she's conquered. She's been as persistent as can be without pushing too hard, but I am not too sure if she always takes this approach. With her reputation, I cannot be sure if she was being genuine or just trying to add a fondness to the list. I slip off of my bed and open the door to the room. I step across the hall and listen to what is happening so far in Team Juniper's room. It hasn't been that long since they went in, and let's see just how far Apira and the rest of Team Juniper have taken my instructions. Yup, Mice will give you plenty of R&R, I can hear Nora shout. I quickly retreat back into Team Ruby's room and begin laughing uncontrollably. This is too perfect. It's just as I planned. Okay, Weiss. I know you're mad at Yang for what happened. You and I both know she was wrong, and I want you to tell us what happened. I look at the depressed heiress sitting across the room for Yang and myself. Well, this was when they were in the infirmary, huh? Blake, given what Yang walked in on, I understand her reaction. After taking time to think it over and seeing Ruby is completely stable, I am much more composed. However, although nothing of any mature variety occurred between Ruby and I, there are certain things I refuse to say in front of Yang. I see. Sorry, Yang. Looks like you need to go. Alright, Yang. Step out of the room for 10 minutes while I speak to Weiss. Damn, why am I talking like this? I know Yang is about to complain, and to avoid an exchange, I figure I will give the blonde a deal she can't refuse, as well as something I wouldn't totally be against. Just let me handle this. I will go with you to the dance in 9 days, alright? Seems like a good deal. Needless to say, within the next 5 seconds, Yang was out the room, leaving Weiss and I alone. Nice work, Blake. You don't need to throw yourself under the bus like that for me, Yang. For me, Blake. It's fine. Now tell me what happened. It's more than fine, Weiss. This was the easiest way to get Yang to take me without me giving her any advantages. I look at Weiss's body language, brushing her thighs tight together, red cheeks avoiding my gaze. She's making me think that Yang was actually right for once. I hope not. In the name of Remnant, I hope not. I confessed, is all Weiss says before looking out the window. Confessed? About? I quirk a brow, realizing what it was when Weiss gave me that helpless look she has when anytime she's gazing at the few pictures of Ruby she keeps on her scroll. I quickly advanced the conversation, getting details of the whole situation as well as Weiss's resolve to ask Ruby to be her girlfriend. The only condition Weiss has is that she wants me present to give her the courage since I am the only one who currently knows, but with that I have in mind, I won't need to be present. I'll be sitting back and enjoying the show. Man, Blake, you're an asshole. Man, it makes me feel like Blake is a dick. A good dick at that. A good cat dick? Oh no. The following morning. Wait, she likes Ruby? I give Yang a nod in my head. It's half an hour until class, and Weiss took off earlier, giving an excuse that she left her bag in the cafeteria. She did, but it was on purpose so she could go get it and check on Ruby at the clinic. She's a lost cause without Ruby nearby. Damn it, I yawned again. I just told you that, blood for brains. Listen, you didn't hear a thing from me. All you need to do is tell Team Juniper that Weiss and Ruby are going out the moment you get news that Ruby's awake. I sent you a message of what to say. All you need to do is copy and paste it to Pierre, and she will tell the rest of the team. Weiss will be messaging you the moment Ruby is awake, and will be making amends with you. In exchange, she wants me to be present when she confesses to Ruby, but will not be turning out that way. With Team Juniper thinking that she already confessed, they will back Weiss into a corner. Ruby will question Weiss, and Weiss will have no chance to back out at that point, unless she wants Ruby to find out from someone other than herself, which will not happen since she seems so prideful with the idea of asking Ruby out. Wait, so what will I be doing? Ying asked, and it's a fair question. The only task I gave her is sending a text message. I'll make it seem like I've been pushing myself into overdrive. The day Weiss sends us a message that Ruby's awake, you will send the message and leave me with your scroll, and you will take mine. The reason for this is so when you get back, you can message me that you're almost back. I can pretend to sleep, and then you can suggest staying in Juniper's room until I wake up. After the three of you leave, I'll message Pierre with your scroll. Since they have no idea I am a part of this plan, it will keep my claws clean. Assign you the blame of being a loudmouth, and Weiss will simply think that I told you until you told everyone else. It's that simple. Beautiful. Blake the Mastermind. That's what the chapter should have been called. Blake the Mastermind. So here I am, within the room, all alone with the door open. Weiss is caught in my trap just as I wanted. Well, why did I make it so difficult for her? Simple. She needs to be able to express herself to Ruby in front of multiple people. I refuse to let the Ice Queen date Little Red and be scared to exchange a simple I love you because there is one person in earshot. It's a backhanded tactic and a lesson from the shadows. But it is all for her own good. I step back into the hallway, a smile crossing my lips when I hear Weiss speak up clearly for the first time, with an amazingly firm tone. Ruby Rose, I want you to be my girlfriend. Atta girl, my work is done. Now, I do need to catch up on my sleep. Especially since Yang will be bugging me about the dance starting tomorrow. Time for a well-deserved cat nap. Damn you, Yang, for rubbing your stupid puns off of me. That was nice. It was really nice. It didn't reach an hour, but it's 56 minutes in, and I guess I'll be good. So that's the end of episode 2, and hey, I did read 3 chapters this time again. Yes. If I keep reading 3 chapters every video, then that'll be nice. Because that could make things easier for me and everything like that. So yeah, we did it. It's fucking shit. Anyways, yeah. This might be the end of my session of reading. I've read like 6 chapters in total, and I'm not sure if I'll be doing another 3 chapters. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of RWBY Fanfiction with the Rose. And I hope if you guys want to read ahead of the story, that's alright. Just as long as like... Alright, I'm going to clarify this with everyone. If you read ahead... And I think there's gonna be some people that will wait for me to like actually upload a video of myself narrating. I'm not sure. I think that's, I don't know, that's very rare to happen. I guess I don't think that's likely to happen. But anyways, if they are, for those that read ahead, do not spoil anything. I mean it. I'm not gonna read until I narrate, until I get to until I record. So do us a favor and like don't even dare to like spoil anything in the story. Like I don't even care if it's like a fake, like if it's a fake spoiler, but like I mean keep the spoilers to yourself. I mean like come on, do not ruin anything for us readers and anything like that. Alright, now that I got that out of my chest, I will see you guys later. Stay classy.